Hello there, amazing English learners. Welcome back to English Next Level, the podcast where we help you take your English from good to absolutely incredible. I'm Chris, your host and English learning coach, and I am so excited to be here with you today. If this is your first time listening to our show, welcome to our English learning family. And if you've been with us before, thank you for coming back. You are the reason I do this podcast every week. Today, we're going to solve one of the biggest problems that English learners face. I get messages about this problem almost every single day. The problem is this: Chris, I want to improve my speaking, but I don't have anyone to practice with. I live in a place where nobody speaks English. I'm too shy to talk to strangers. I can't afford a tutor. How can I improve my speaking when I'm completely alone? If this sounds like you, then this episode is going to change your life, because today I'm going to teach you 7 powerful methods to improve your English speaking skills without needing any partner, tutor, or conversation buddy. These are the same methods that I've personally used to help thousands of students become confident English speakers, even when they started with 0 conversation practice. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's episode: How to improve your English speaking alone. Before we start with the methods, I want to tell you something important. If you feel frustrated because you don't have anyone to practice English with, you are not alone. This is actually one of the most common challenges that English learners face around the world. I remember when I was learning Spanish many years ago. I lived in a small town where nobody spoke Spanish. I felt so frustrated because I could read Spanish books and understand Spanish movies, but when it came to speaking, I was terrible. I would freeze up, I would forget simple words, I sounded like a robot reading from a script. But then I discovered something amazing. I learned that some of the most fluent speakers I knew had actually spent months or even years practicing alone before they ever had regular conversation partners. They had developed their speaking skills in private, and when they finally got the chance to speak with other people, they were already confident and fluent. This taught me that speaking practice doesn't always require another person. In fact, some of the most effective speaking practice happens when you're alone, because you can focus completely on your own improvement without worrying about embarrassment or judgment. So today, I'm going to share with you the 7 most powerful solo speaking practice methods. These methods will help you build confidence, improve your pronunciation, expand your vocabulary, and develop natural speaking patterns, all from the comfort of your own home with no conversation partner required. Are you ready? Let's begin with method number 1. The first method is called the mirror technique, and it's probably the most powerful solo speaking practice method that exists. I've been teaching this technique for over 10 years, and I've seen it transform students from nervous, hesitant speakers into confident communicators. Here's how it works. You stand in front of a mirror and have conversations with yourself. Now, I know this might sound strange at first. You might think, Chris, talking to myself in the mirror, that sounds crazy. But trust me on this one. This technique works because it simulates real conversation in a safe environment. When you look at yourself in the mirror while speaking, several amazing things happen. First, you can see your facial expressions and body language. This helps you practice the nonverbal communication that is so important in English. Second, you get immediate visual feedback. You can see if you look confident or nervous, natural or stiff. Third, it feels more like a real conversation because you're looking at someone, even though that someone is you. Let me give you a step-by-step guide for using the mirror technique effectively. Step 1, choose a topic. Start with something simple and personal. For example, what I did yesterday, my favorite food, or my plans for the weekend. Don't choose complicated topics at first. Keep it simple and familiar. Step 2, stand in front of a mirror. Make sure you can see your face and upper body clearly. Good lighting is important because you want to see your expressions. Step 3, start speaking. Begin talking about your chosen topic as if you're explaining it to a friend. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on expressing your ideas clearly. Step 4, watch yourself. Pay attention to your facial expressions, gestures, and body language. Do you look natural and confident, or do you look tense and uncomfortable? Step 5. Practice for 5 to 10 minutes. Don't make your first sessions too long. 5 to 10 minutes is perfect for beginners. Now, let me give you some advanced tips for the mirror technique. Tip 1. Practice different emotions. Don't just practice neutral topics. Practice expressing excitement, disappointment, surprise, and other emotions. This will make your speaking more natural and engaging. Tip 2. Have imaginary conversations. Pretend you're talking to different people, your boss, your friend, a stranger asking for directions. Change your tone and style depending on the situation. Tip 3. Work on specific pronunciation problems. If you struggle with certain sounds, practice them while watching your mouth movements in the mirror. Tip 4. Record yourself occasionally. While looking in the mirror, record yourself on your phone. Later, you can listen back and notice things you might have missed. I want to share a quick success story with you. I had a student named Loria from Colombia. She was incredibly shy and had been studying English for 3 years, but she was too nervous to speak with anyone. I introduced her to the mirror technique, and she started practicing for 10 minutes every morning before work. After just a month, she told me that she felt like a completely different person. She said, "Chris, I used to be afraid of my own voice speaking English, but now I actually enjoy hearing myself speak. I feel confident and natural." 6 months later, she got a promotion at work that required her to give presentations in English. The mirror technique had transformed not just her speaking ability, but her entire confidence level. The key to success with this method is consistency. Practice a little bit every day, rather than practicing for hours once a week. Even 5 minutes of daily mirror practice will give you amazing results over time.
The second method is called shadowing, and it's one of the most effective ways to improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and natural speaking patterns. Shadowing is like being the echo of a native speaker, and it's a technique that professional interpreters use to develop their language skills. Here's how shadowing works. You listen to native English speakers, maybe from podcasts, movies, or YouTube videos, and you repeat everything they say at almost the same time. You're like their shadow, following them word by word, trying to match their pronunciation, intonation, and timing. The beautiful thing about shadowing is that it trains multiple skills at once. You're improving your listening comprehension, your pronunciation, your rhythm, and your ability to speak at natural speed. It's like getting 4 different types of practice in one exercise. Let me explain the step-by-step process for effective shadowing. Step 1. Choose appropriate material. This is crucial. You need content that is slightly below your current level, not at your level or above it. If the material is too difficult, you'll spend all your energy trying to understand the meaning, and you won't be able to focus on repeating. Good sources include children's stories, simple news reports, or beginner-level podcasts. Step 2. Listen first. Before you start shadowing, listen to the entire piece once or twice just to understand the general meaning. This preparation makes the shadowing much more effective. Step 3. Start with short segments. Don't try to shadow a 20-minute video on your first attempt. Start with 1 to 2 minute segments, or even shorter if you're a complete beginner. Step 4. Focus on rhythm over meaning. This is the key to successful shadowing. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Focus on matching the rhythm, stress patterns, and melody of the English speech. Step 5. Practice regularly. Like all these techniques, consistency is more important than duration. 15 minutes of daily shadowing is better than 2 hours once a week. Now, let me share some advanced shadowing techniques that will accelerate your progress. Technique 1, partial shadowing. Instead of trying to repeat every word, focus on just the stressed words or the main content words. This is easier for beginners and helps you learn the natural rhythm of English. Technique 2. Delayed shadowing. Wait for a few words before you start repeating. This trains your working memory and helps you process longer chunks of language. Technique 3. Silent shadowing. Move your mouth and tongue as if you're speaking, but don't make any sound. This is perfect for practicing when other people are around and you can't speak out loud. Technique 4. Emotion shadowing. Choose content with strong emotions, excited sports commentators, dramatic movie scenes, enthusiastic teachers. This helps you practice expressing emotions naturally in English. I want to tell you about my student, Jin, from South Korea. Jin had been studying English for 5 years, but he sounded very robotic when he spoke. His grammar was perfect, his vocabulary was extensive, but his pronunciation and rhythm were very unnatural. Native speakers had trouble understanding him, not because his English was wrong, but because it didn't flow naturally. I introduced Jin to shadowing practice, and I had him focus specifically on English podcasts about technology, a topic he was passionate about. He practiced shadowing for 20 minutes every day during his commute to work. After 3 months, the transformation was remarkable. His English didn't just sound more natural, it sounded confident and engaging. His colleagues started asking him to lead more meetings, and he even got invited to speak at an international conference. Jin told me, shadowing didn't just improve my pronunciation, it taught me how English actually sounds when native speakers use it naturally. The secret to successful shadowing is choosing material you find interesting. If you're bored by the content, your brain won't engage fully with the language patterns. So pick topics you genuinely care about. Sports, cooking, technology, travel, whatever excites you. Also, don't worry about being perfect. In the beginning, you might only be able to shadow 30% of what you hear. That's completely normal and expected. With practice, you'll gradually be able to shadow more and more until you can follow along with almost everything.
The third method is self-recording and analysis, and this is where you become your own English teacher. This technique involves recording yourself speaking, then listening back and analyzing your performance. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful because it gives you objective feedback about your speaking. Most English learners avoid recording themselves because they don't like hearing their own voice. I understand this feeling completely. When I first started learning Spanish, I hated hearing my recordings. I thought I sounded terrible. But here's what I learned. The discomfort you feel when hearing your own voice is actually a sign that you're becoming more aware of areas where you can improve. Self-recording works because it creates distance between you and your speaking. When you're speaking in real time, you're focused on expressing your ideas and you can't evaluate your performance objectively. But when you listen to a recording, you can focus completely on analyzing and improving. Let me walk you through the complete process of effective self-recording and analysis. Step 1. Choose a speaking task. Start with structured tasks rather than free conversation. For example, describe a picture. Tell a story from your childhood, explain how to cook your favorite dish, or give your opinion about a current event. Having a specific task helps you focus and gives you something concrete to evaluate. Step 2. Record in a quiet environment. Background noise will make it harder to analyze your speaking clearly. Use your phone's voice recorder app. You don't need any special equipment. Step 3. Speak for 2 to 3 minutes. Don't make your recordings too long, especially when you're starting out. 2 to 3 minutes gives you enough material to analyze without feeling overwhelmed. Step 4.
Wait before listening. This is important. Don't listen to your recording immediately. Wait at least a few hours, or even better, listen the next day. This creates psychological distance and helps you be more objective in your analysis. Step 5. Listen multiple times with different focuses. Don't try to analyze everything at once. Listen to your recording 3 or 4 times, each time focusing on a different aspect. Now, let me give you a specific framework for analyzing your recordings. I call this the PACE framework. P is for pronunciation. Listen specifically for sounds that you struggle with. Are your vowel sounds clear? Are you pronouncing consonants correctly? Mark down any words where your pronunciation could be improved. A is for accuracy. Check your grammar and vocabulary usage. Did you use the correct verb tenses? Were there any words you used incorrectly? Note any grammar mistakes you notice. C is for clarity. Evaluate how easy you are to understand. Are you speaking too quickly or too slowly? Are you mumbling or speaking clearly? Is your volume appropriate? And E is for expression. Analyze your intonation and emotion. Do you sound natural and engaged or monotone and robotic? Are you using appropriate stress and rhythm patterns? After each analysis session, choose just 1 or 2 specific things to work on in your next recording. Don't try to fix everything at once. Gradual improvement is much more effective than trying to perfect everything immediately. Let me share an inspiring story about this technique. I had a student named Ahmed from Egypt who was preparing for an important job interview in English. He was extremely nervous because his previous attempts at English interviews had gone poorly. I taught him the self-recording technique, and he started recording himself answering common interview questions every day. At first, he could barely listen to his own recordings because he was so critical of his mistakes, but I encouraged him to stick with it. After 2 weeks of daily recording and analysis, Ahmed started noticing patterns in his mistakes. He realized he always forgot to use articles, a and the, when he was nervous. He also noticed that he spoke too quickly when he was excited about a topic. By the time his interview arrived, 6 weeks later, Ahmed had recorded himself over 40 times. He had systematically identified and worked on his most common mistakes. The interview went perfectly, and he got the job. Ahmed told me later, the recording technique didn't just improve my English. It made me aware of how I actually sound, not how I think I sound. Here are some advanced tips for self-recording and analysis. Tip 1. Create a speaking diary. Record yourself talking about your day, your thoughts, or your experiences on a regular basis. This creates a natural speaking practice routine. Tip 2. Record yourself reading aloud. Choose interesting articles or stories and record yourself reading them. This helps you practice pronunciation and intonation in a controlled way. Tip 3. Imitate, then record. Listen to a native speaker, practice imitating them, then record yourself doing the same content. Compare your recording to the original. Remember, the goal of self-recording is not to be perfect. The goal is to become aware of your current speaking patterns so you can gradually improve them. Every mistake you identify is actually a victory because it's an opportunity for improvement that you can work on. The 5th method is question and answer sessions, and this technique simulates one of the most common types of real-world communication, responding to questions. Whether you're in a job interview, making small talk, or explaining something to a colleague, much of our daily communication involves answering questions, so practicing this skill alone is incredibly valuable. The beauty of Q&A practice is that it prepares you for unpredictable conversations. When someone asks you a question in real life, you can't prepare your answer in advance. You need to think quickly, organize your thoughts, and respond naturally. Q&A sessions help you develop this spontaneous speaking ability. This method also helps you practice what I call thinking in English. Instead of translating from your native language,
You learn to formulate thoughts directly in English. This is a crucial skill for fluent speaking. Let me explain how to set up effective Q&A practice sessions. Step 1. Prepare a list of questions. You can find question lists online, create your own, or use questions from English conversation books. Start with common, everyday questions and gradually move to more complex ones. Step 2. Ask yourself a question and answer immediately. Don't think about your answer for a long time. Give yourself just a few seconds to think, then start speaking. This simulates real conversation conditions. Step 3. Aim for complete answers. Don't just give one word or very short responses. Practice giving full, detailed answers that would be appropriate in real conversations. Step 4. Time your responses. Aim to speak for 30 seconds to 2 minutes per answer, depending on the question. This helps you practice maintaining conversation for appropriate lengths of time. Step 5. Mix question types. Practice different kinds of questions: factual questions, opinion questions, hypothetical questions, and personal questions. Now let me give you some specific categories of questions that are excellent for solo practice. Category 1. Personal information questions. These are great for beginners because you always know the answers. Tell me about yourself. What's your daily routine like? What are your hobbies and interests? Describe your hometown. What are your career goals? Category 2. Opinion and preference questions. These help you practice expressing your thoughts and giving reasons. What's your favorite type of music and why? Do you prefer living in the city or the countryside? What do you think about social media? Which is more important, money or happiness? What's the best advice you've ever received? Category 3. Experience questions. These help you practice past tenses and storytelling. Tell me about a memorable trip you've taken. What's the most challenging thing you've ever done? Describe a time when you had to solve a difficult problem. What's the biggest change you've made in your life? Tell me about someone who has influenced you. Category 4. Hypothetical questions. These are more advanced and help you practice conditional language. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you choose? What would you do if you won the lottery? If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? How would you spend your time if you didn't need to work? What would you do if you were the leader of your country? Let me share some advanced techniques for Q&A practice. Technique 1. The PREP method. This stands for point, reason, example, point. First, state your main point clearly. Then give reasons for your opinion. Provide specific examples to support your reasons. Finally, restate your main point. This structure helps you give organized, complete answers. Technique 2, the follow-up technique. After answering a question, ask yourself a related follow-up question and answer that too. This simulates natural conversation flow and helps you practice extended speaking. Technique 3, the devil's advocate technique. After giving your real opinion about something, practice arguing the opposite position. This helps you develop flexibility in your thinking and vocabulary. Technique 4, the emotion variation technique. Answer the same question while imagining different emotional states. How would you answer if you were excited, tired, worried? This helps you practice expressing different emotions in English. I want to tell you about David, a student from Germany who was preparing for university interviews in English. David was technically proficient in English, but he struggled with the spontaneous speaking required in interviews. He would pause for long periods, use filler words excessively, and sometimes lose track of his thoughts mid-sentence. I introduced David to daily Q&A practice sessions. Every morning before breakfast, he would spend 15 minutes asking himself interview-style questions and practicing immediate responses. He started with simple questions about his background and interests, then gradually moved to more complex questions about his academic goals and career plans. The key breakthrough came when David started using the prep method. Instead of rambling or losing his thoughts mid-sentence, he learned to structure his answers clearly. He would state his point, give reasons, provide specific examples, and conclude with a summary. This structure gave him confidence and made his answers much more compelling. After 8 weeks of daily Q&A practice, David's interview skills had transformed completely. He could respond to unexpected questions with confidence and clarity. He got accepted to his first-choice university program, and the interviewer specifically commented on his excellent communication skills. David told me later, the Q&A practice didn't just improve my speaking, it taught me how to think more clearly in English. Now when people ask me questions in real life, I don't panic. I have a system for organizing my thoughts and expressing them clearly. The secret to effective Q&A practice is gradually increasing the difficulty and spontaneity. Start with questions you can easily answer, then move to more challenging topics. As you get more comfortable, reduce your thinking time before answering. Eventually, you'll be able to respond naturally and confidently to almost any question. Remember, the goal is not to have perfect answers. The goal is to practice the process of thinking and responding in English under time pressure. This skill will serve you well in job interviews, social conversations, academic discussions, and many other real-world situations.
The sixth method focuses specifically on accent and pronunciation drills. And this is where we get technical about the sounds of English. Many English learners can communicate their ideas clearly, but they struggle with pronunciation issues that make them difficult to understand or that make them feel self-conscious about their accent. I want to be clear about something important. Having an accent is completely normal and nothing to be ashamed of. Native English speakers from different countries and regions have different accents too. The goal of pronunciation practice is not to sound exactly like a native speaker from a specific place. The goal is to be clearly understood and to feel confident when you speak. However, there are certain pronunciation patterns that, if improved, can make a dramatic difference in how easily others understand you. These include vowel sounds, consonant sounds, word stress, and sentence rhythm. Working on these systematically can boost both your clarity and your confidence. Let me explain how to approach pronunciation practice systematically and effectively. Step 1. Identify your specific pronunciation challenges. Different native languages create different pronunciation difficulties in English. Spanish speakers often struggle with certain vowel distinctions. Japanese speakers might have trouble with L and R sounds. Arabic speakers sometimes find certain consonant combinations challenging. Research the common pronunciation issues for speakers of your native language. Step 2. Work on one sound at a time. Don't try to fix everything at once. Choose one specific sound that you want to improve and focus on it for a week or two before moving to the next one. Step 3. Practice the sound in isolation first. Before trying to use the sound in words and sentences, practice making the sound by itself. Learn the correct mouth and tongue position.
Step 4, practice in words. Once you can make the sound correctly in isolation, practice it in simple words. Start with words where the sound is at the beginning, then middle, then end. Step 5, practice in sentences and natural speech. Now, let me give you specific drills for the most common pronunciation challenges that English learners face. Drill 1, vowel sound distinction. Many English learners struggle to distinguish between similar vowel sounds. For example, the difference between ship and sheep, or cat and cut. Practice method: create minimal pairs, words that are identical except for one sound. Practice saying them back and forth, exaggerating the difference at first, then gradually making it more natural. Example practice: ship, sheep, ship, sheep. I saw a ship. I counted sheep. The ship sailed away. The sheep were sleeping. Drill 2, consonant clusters. English has many consonant combinations that don't exist in other languages, such as STR, SPR, THR, and SCR. Start by saying each consonant separately, then gradually blend them together. Use a mirror to watch your mouth movements. Example practice: STR, str, strong. SPR, spr, spring. THR, thr, three. SCR, scr, screen. Drill 3, word stress patterns. English uses word stress to distinguish meaning and create rhythm. Incorrect stress can make words difficult to understand. Practice exaggerating the stressed syllable by making it louder, longer, and higher in pitch. Practice with a strong rhythm like you're speaking to music. Example practice: photograph, photography, photographic. Record, noun, record, verb. Present, noun, present, verb. Drill 4, connected speech. In natural English, words connect and blend together in ways that can be challenging for learners. Practice method: start by saying phrases very slowly and clearly, then gradually speed up while maintaining the connections. Example practice: what do you want becomes what do you want. Practice the transition: what do you, what do you want. Drill 5, intonation patterns. English uses rising and falling intonation to convey meaning and emotion. Practice method: exaggerate intonation patterns at first, then gradually make them more natural. Use your hand to trace the intonation pattern in the air. Example practice: are you coming? Yes, I'm coming. Really? Absolutely. Let me share a success story about pronunciation improvement. I had a student named Lin from China who is a brilliant engineer working for an international technology company. Lin's English grammar and vocabulary were excellent, but her pronunciation made it difficult for her colleagues to understand her in meetings and presentations. Lin's main challenges were distinguishing between certain vowel sounds and managing word stress in longer words. We identified 3 specific areas to work on: the difference between I and E sounds, like seat versus sit, the th sound in words like think, and stress patterns in technical vocabulary. Lin practiced for just 10 minutes every day using specific drills.
For the vowel distinction, she practiced minimal pairs while looking in a mirror and recording herself. For the th sound, she practiced tongue placement exercises and words in isolation before moving to sentences. For word stress, she practiced technical terms with exaggerated stress patterns. After 3 months of consistent daily practice, the improvement was remarkable. Lynn's colleagues commented that she was much easier to understand, and she felt confident enough to volunteer for more speaking opportunities at work. She even got selected to represent her team at an international conference. Lynn told me, "I thought my pronunciation was good enough because people could usually understand me eventually, but I didn't realize how much mental energy it took for both me and my listeners. Now communication feels effortless, and I can focus on expressing my ideas instead of worrying about being understood." Here are some advanced tips for pronunciation practice. Tip 1. Use technology tools. There are excellent apps and websites that can help you practice pronunciation. Some can even analyze your speech and give you feedback on specific sounds. Tip 2. Record yourself regularly. Use your phone to record yourself practicing pronunciation drills, then listen back and compare to native speaker models. Tip 3. Practice with tongue twisters. These are fun and effective for improving specific sounds and speech clarity. Examples: she sells seashells by the seashore, for S and SH sounds. Tip 4. Focus on rhythm as much as individual sounds. English has a specific rhythm pattern that's just as important as correct individual sounds for clear communication. Tip 5. Don't aim for perfection. The goal is improvement and clarity, not perfection. Even small improvements in pronunciation can make a big difference in how others understand you. Remember, pronunciation improvement takes time and patience. Don't expect overnight changes, but with consistent daily practice using focus drills, you will see gradual but significant improvement over time. The key is to practice a little bit every day rather than trying to do long practice sessions occasionally. 10 minutes of focused pronunciation practice every day is much more effective than an hour of practice once a week.
Our seventh and final method is monologue practice, and this is perhaps the most advanced technique we'll cover today. A monologue is an extended speech by one person, and practicing monologues helps you develop the ability to speak at length about topics without interruption or prompts from others. This skill is incredibly valuable in real-world situations. Whether you're giving a presentation at work, explaining a complex idea to a colleague, telling a detailed story to friends, or even just describing your day to your family, you need the ability to organize your thoughts and speak continuously for several minutes. Many English learners can handle short conversations with back-and-forth exchanges, but they struggle when they need to speak for extended periods. They lose their train of thought, repeat themselves, use too many filler words, or simply run out of things to say. Monologue practice directly addresses these challenges. The beautiful thing about monologue practice is that it combines all the skills we've been discussing. You need good pronunciation to be understood, clear organization to keep your ideas flowing, rich vocabulary to express complex thoughts, and confidence to speak without constant feedback from a listener. Let me explain how to approach monologue practice systematically. Step 1. Choose appropriate topics. Start with subjects you know well and care about. This could be your hobbies, your work, your hometown, your family, or your experiences. When you're passionate about a topic, you'll naturally have more to say, and your language will be more engaging. Step 2. Set a time goal. Begin with short monologues of 2 to 3 minutes, then gradually work up to 5 to 10 minutes. Don't try to speak for too long initially, as this can become overwhelming and discouraging. Step 3, create a basic outline. Don't write out your entire speech, but do plan your main points. A simple 3-part structure works well. Introduction, what you'll talk about. Body, your main points. And conclusion, summary or final thoughts. Step 4, practice the same monologue multiple times. Don't create a new monologue every time you practice. Choose one topic and practice it several times, improving your language and delivery each time. Step 5, record your practice sessions. This allows you to analyze your performance and track your improvement over time. Now, let me give you some specific monologue formats that are excellent for practice. Format 1, the descriptive monologue. Describe something in detail, a place you visited, a person who is important to you, or an object that has special meaning. This format helps you practice descriptive vocabulary and spatial language. Example structure: I want to describe my grandmother's kitchen, which was the heart of our family home. When you walked in, the first thing you noticed was the walls were covered with, in the corner stood. What made this room so special was... Format 2, the process explanation monologue. Explain how to do something step by step. This could be a recipe, a work procedure, or any skill you possess. This format helps you practice sequencing language and clear instruction giving. Example structure: today I'm going to explain how to make my favorite traditional dish. You'll need these ingredients. First you prepare, then you. The most important step is, finally you. The result should be. Format 3, the opinion monologue. Present and defend your viewpoint on a topic you care about. This format helps you practice persuasive language and logical argumentation. Example structure: I believe that learning a second language should be mandatory in all schools, and I have 3 main reasons for this position. First, my second reason is, finally, some people might argue that, but I would respond by saying, in conclusion. Format 4, the narrative monologue. Tell a detailed story from your life or create a fictional narrative. This format helps you practice past tenses, descriptive language, and engaging storytelling techniques. Example structure: I want to tell you about the day that changed my perspective on... It was a Tuesday morning I remember walking... What I didn't expect was, when I realized what was happening, looking back on that experience... Format 5, the comparative monologue. Compare 2 things, experiences or time periods. This format helps you practice comparative language and analytical thinking. Example structure: I've lived in both small towns and big cities, and I want to share my thoughts on the differences. In small towns, you experience, whereas in big cities, the advantages of small town life include. On the other hand, cities offer. If I had to choose... Let me share an inspiring story about monologue practice. I had a student named Carlos from Mexico who was preparing for a management position that would require him to give regular presentations and lead team meetings in English. Carlos was comfortable with one-on-one conversations, but he became extremely nervous when he had to speak to groups or talk for extended periods. We started with simple descriptive monologues. Carlos's first assignment was to describe his hometown for 3 minutes. His initial attempt was filled with long pauses, repetitive phrases, and frequent restarts. But instead of giving up, Carlos practiced the same monologue every day for a week. By day 7, his 3-minute description of his hometown was flowing naturally. He had developed a clear structure, interesting details, and confident delivery. Then we moved to process explanations, where Carlos described work procedures from his current job. This was perfect practice for the kind of speaking he would need to do as a manager. After 6 weeks of daily monologue practice, Carlos had developed the ability to speak confidently on any topic for 10 to 15 minutes without preparation. When he got promoted to the management position, his English speaking skills were no longer a source of anxiety, but a professional strength. Carlos told me, Monologue practice taught me that I actually have a lot to say in English. The problem was never my ideas or my knowledge. It was my confidence in expressing them. Now I can present to any audience without fear. Here are some advanced techniques for monologue practice. Technique 1, the impromptu challenge. Write down 20 to 30 topics on small pieces of paper. Randomly select one and immediately begin a 2 to 3 minute monologue about it. This builds your ability to think and speak spontaneously. Technique 2, the perspective shift. Take the same topic and practice presenting it from different viewpoints. For example, describe a vacation from the perspective of a tourist, then from the perspective of a local resident. This helps you develop flexibility in your language use. Technique 3, the audience adaptation. Practice the same monologue as if you're speaking to different audiences: children, experts, foreigners, elderly. This helps you develop flexibility in your language use. Technique 4, the time pressure drill. Practice delivering the same content in different time limits. Can you cover your main points in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? This teaches you to adapt your level of detail to your time constraints. Technique 5, the interruption recovery. While practicing, deliberately stop yourself mid-sentence, then practice smoothly returning to your main point. This prepares you for real-world situations where you might lose your train of thought. Here's a practical weekly schedule for monologue practice. Monday, choose a new topic and create a basic outline. Practice a 3-minute version. Tuesday, practice the same monologue, focusing on improving your language and adding details. Wednesday, record your monologue and listen back for areas to improve. Thursday, practice the monologue with a focus on pronunciation and delivery. Friday, extend the monologue to 5 to 7 minutes with additional details and examples. Weekend, practice impromptu monologues on random topics for confidence building. The key to successful monologue practice is starting with topics you're genuinely interested in. When you care about your subject matter, you'll naturally have more to say, and your language will be more engaging and natural. Also, remember that the goal is not to speak perfectly without any mistakes. The goal is to develop fluency, the ability to keep speaking smoothly even when you make small errors. Native speakers make mistakes too, but they keep going without losing confidence. Don't worry about occasional grammar mistakes or vocabulary gaps. Focus on maintaining your flow, expressing your ideas clearly, and engaging your imaginary audience. With consistent practice, you will develop the confidence and skills to speak at length on any topic.
Remember, you don't need a conversation partner to become a confident English speaker. You just need the right methods, consistent practice, and patience with your progress. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with other English learners who might benefit from these techniques. You can find all our episodes at EnglishNextLevel.com, and you can follow us on social media for daily English learning tips. Next week, we'll be talking about how to think in English instead of translating, another crucial skill for fluent speaking. You won't want to miss that episode. Until then, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep taking your English to the next level. This is Chris from English Next Level. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.